Okay, showtime. We got a lot of ground to cover. Let's get caught up here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. All right, so first up we have 0G versus Tether. That hits stop loss. The trade is not invalidated. We will not be entering that. Next up we have AB versus Tether. We looked at this last night in the London session. And at the time, the setup wasn't right. It was on the 15-minute. On the 30-minute, it's hit stop loss. So we're not going to enter that. That's invalidated as well. Next up, we've got People versus Tether, another trade invalidation. We've got Pax Gold. Trade never marked itself, and it's invalid anyway. Got Zero versus Tether, another invalidated trade. Looks like we have retracement on Bitcoin overnight. So we'll get to that when we see it. In fact, take a quick gander now. Curious. Yeah, Bitcoin shot up, so that's fine. We just looked at PaxG. Pendle hit stop loss. Rune hit stop loss. Looks like it was good. I stopped early last night because these are all bad. All right, okay, hit stop loss. No surprise on that one. That was a tight stop. IMX hit stop loss. Looks like we're going to get a lot of these. Comp versus Tether hit take profit. Mina versus Tether hit stop loss. Australian dollar versus Japanese yen hit take profit. Cardano versus the United States dollar hit stop loss. Same thing with Cardano versus Tether. XPL, we're still in that trade. All right, here we go. This is Zen versus Tether. Going to take this on the sell to 8.911. And risk is 3.9. Entry is 9.746. Stop is 10 point. Oh, actually, 9.960. And take profit is 8.911. Right, here's your call. Just realized I'm not even in the right freaking place. Hold on. There we go. Better. Zen versus Tether. It's a 15-minute sell. Your entry price is 9.746. Stop loss is 9.960 for 214 pips. Your take profit is 8.911 for 835 pips, and a risk to reward ratio of 3.90. And Kaido versus Tether hit stop loss. The Euro versus the Polish Nati hit stop loss. We're in plume. All right, SKL, we're taking this on the sell, targeting 0.01199. SKL. Actually, it looks like we won't be taking that because that's about to be delisted on my broker. So get out of this altogether. And we got take profit smashed on the NASDAQ 100. That was for 29,375 pips. We got stop loss on pump versus tether. Come on. Yeah, wrong setup on cake versus tether, so we won't be entering that. Yeah, stop loss hit on Aster versus tether. Stop loss hit on Star J versus tether. Stop loss hit on Polkadot versus tether. Stop loss hit on Merle versus tether. I believe that's Merlin Finance, if I remember correctly. Stop loss hit on Ray versus Tether. Stop loss hit on Polkadot versus US dollar. Stop loss hit on People versus Tether. Stop loss hit on Injective versus Tether. I believe we looked at Comp versus Tether already. Did. Stop loss hit on Jupiter versus Tether. Stop loss hit on Anchor versus Tether. Looks like all of this was caused by the drawback of Bitcoin. Stop loss hit on Ethereum Finance versus Tether. Right setup. Technically, but I don't like the fact it's above the 200. We're not going to take this. It's going to be a stop loss hit on Aptos versus Tether. Stop loss hit on Thorchain versus Tether. There's going to be a stop loss hit on Cake versus Tether. We looked at StoreJ. We looked at Anchor. We looked at Jupiter. OM. All right, this one works. I'm going to take this on the sell to 0.0667. All right, risk is going to be 4.39. Stop loss 0.0748. 0.0766. That's for 18. Lord. And take profit is 667. All right, OM versus Tether, 15-minute sell. Entry price is 0.0748. Stop loss is 0.0766 for 18 pips. Take profit is 0.066 for 81 pips. And a risk to reward ratio of 4.50. All right. Stop loss hit on euro versus Canadian dollar. Stop loss hit on SOMI versus Tether. Wrong setup on anime. There's too much resistance on the bottom of price. Let me turn on Elliott Wave. Help out here real quick. Stop loss hit on euro versus Great British pound sterling. Stop loss hit on Great British pound sterling versus the Danish krona. Stop loss hit on zero versus Tether. We already looked at Polkadot. We already looked at Pump. Stop loss hit on Magic Eden versus Tether. Stop loss hit on 1 inch versus Tether. It even broke the reversal zone, but it's due for a drop at this point. We looked at IMX. We looked at Thorchain. Stop loss hit on Litecoin versus Tether and Litecoin versus United States dollar. We looked at Ray already. Stop loss hit on Move versus Tether. We looked at Cardano. We looked at Jupiter. And this is silver versus the United States dollar. That's already moved on us. It's about 40% of the way to take profit. That's going to smack. Hey, we missed that. That would have been nice. Very nice, in fact. And euro versus Czech dollar hit stop loss and then went back into profit territory. We looked at Merlin Finance. This is the futures on silver, same setup. Futures on micro silver, same setup. If it gives us a reset, we'll hop in it. Stop loss hit on Sonic versus Tether. Gold versus the United States dollar already moved on us, about 30% of the way to take profit. Gold versus Australian dollar showing the same pattern. Stop loss hit on Injector versus Tether. We already looked at Pump. This is gold versus the euro. Same pattern as gold is versus the dollar and the Australian dollar. Stop loss hit on Swiss franc versus Japanese yen. We looked at Jupiter. This is gold and micro gold. Also already moved on, likely. Yep. United States dollar versus Mexican peso. Almost 70% to profit. Too late to get in. I don't like that. Too bunched up on United States dollar versus Polish zloty. We looked at LUNC. We looked at euro versus PLN. It's the future of the New Zealand dollar. Again, it's already taken off on us. United States dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Taken off on us already. Swiss franc versus Japanese yen. Hit stop loss. This is platinum versus the United States dollar. Yeah, I don't like that entry. Most because the 200's over the 50. So this is likely to continue selling off. Stop loss hit on Atom versus Tether. This is platinum as a future. Same setup as the other one. Euro versus Czech dollar. Hit stop loss and then turn into profit territory. We'll look at gold. Euro versus the South African Rand. We're not going to re-enter that again. We looked at gold versus Euro. We looked at SKL. We looked at gold as a future. It's a 10-year ultra treasury bond, and it's already taken off on us. You can see it's about 40% of the way to take profit. We looked at AV already on the 15 minutes, so I know on the 30 minute it also hit to stop loss. Looks like a lot of crazy reversals, so stop loss hit on Pendle versus the United States dollar. We're going to check news definitely because something is screwed up the market. And I'm not quite sure what it is. Normally, you don't have this much reversal. Something big happened. We looked here already. That's a stop loss hit on USD versus Polish Nati. We looked at Ethereum Finance. We looked at Bitcoin Cash. And we looked at SKL. So nothing clean. We do have 9 o'clock coming up at the top of the hour. About 1 minute. We should get some fresh signals. Meanwhile, let's figure out what the hell is going on with the markets. This is what the problem is. You got members of the Fed going out there and being very clear about how they feel about interest rates. Now, remind you, this time they're flying blind because they don't have jobs data for the month of November to make their rate decision for this month. And they're divided. That causes uncertainty in the market. And what's going on. Also, Michael Saylor's ETFs strategy plunged 80% overnight. Why? Because yesterday he made a statement for the first time ever that he foresees a scenario where he might actually sell Bitcoin. And he's never said that before. He's always been bullish. It's a risk when your company's only strategy is to buy Bitcoin. Gasoline dropped down below $3 a gallon. That's going to be very good for your price at the pump next week. I think that's it. Check Forex Factory. Major news coming out today. All right, so we had comments by the governor of the Royal Bank of England at 4 a.m. And then we've got GDP drop on Australian dollar at 6:30 tonight. Other than that, there are no major pieces of news. We do have one member of the Federal Reserve who spoke or who is speaking right now. I don't know if that's going to stabilize the market or not because so many of them have spoken in the last few days. Way to make a mess of things. So this is flagging a short on Australian dollar versus New Zealand dollar. But as you can see, we just had a golden cross. So what's likely to happen is price is going to come down and test this and then continue up. This is not a good trade setup to get into. If we looked at euro versus shekel, not entering that either. So let's look at some fundamentals here. We're going to go to Bitcoin first. We're going to start at the daily and work our way down. Figure out what the hell is going on here. So it held low at the bottom of the 800, came up, did another reversal. It's coming up to an equal high. That's a bottom, that's a bottom. So in the interim, it looks like it's likely to continue going up to test the 50. So this is what I'm foreseeing based off of what I see. And it's going to continue selling off. Question then is, where's the liquidity? So I was right. You got liquidity right here for a sell. You got an order block right below price, which is why you have this bounce. So we got support at 82,300. That falls. We've got support at 76.1. And then 2. This is really close enough to grab all this liquidity, and I think that's likely to happen. And mostly because you have a golden cross on the daily. Whenever you have the 200 go over the 50, that's a very strong signal that you have a downtrend. And since this is the daily, it's going to affect every other smaller time frame, regardless of how pronounced it looks. So this is going to sell off. It's just a matter of time. So what I would recommend is don't get too bullish on cryptocurrency today. I would actually sit crypto out until it starts getting up near this zone. So once Bitcoin hits around 98,300, provided it even gets that high, which I doubt it will, it's going to sell off again. And look at how significant that order block is up here. So there's very strong resistance at 117.4. Bitcoin is just not going back up right now. Market pressure is pushing it down. And institutional traders are greedy. They're going to go for this liquidity. These are all people trying to long Bitcoin on buy limits that haven't been activated yet. And this is why Bitcoin has been crashing. When it hit the all-time high of 126, those institutional traders saw all this money down here because they can see where your stops are. And they just went hunting. They started offloading all their Bitcoin onto exchanges, which is effectively selling their Bitcoin to get cash. They've been planting into altcoins instead that have been outperforming Bitcoin, even with days of losses. And they've been taking price to get into a better entry. So we're going to look at it on the 4-hour. We see the same thing. You got about an equal high right now. It's not even going to break through this order block. So this is almost done going up. It'll probably stop around 90,300. Go down to the 2 hour. You see it. It's even more pronounced. It's almost done. Same thing on the 1 hour. Same thing on the 30-minute. Now you look at this on the daily and you think, man, this thing is moving. But then you look at the action as you go down in time, it's moving sideways. So this is just a trick to get people to get FOMO. It's really not a big move from here to here. So you're seeing that same resistance on every time frame, from the daily all the way down to the 15-minute. This is just not going to be one of those days. So for those of you who are still bullish on Bitcoin right now, I want to cool your jets. I see what it looks like. But you go to your ATX and you see anything over 25, that's a strong reversal. And you see right now sitting at 37.95 on the 15-minute, which means it's about to tank. Well, that's boink. Bitcoin's at 39.35. There's no way it holds that. Then on the TDI, it is severely overbought. Anything over 70 is overbought. But the fact that it's at 78.66, that's severely overbought. And look for where it came from. Way down here. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get down to 14, but it's damn sure going to clear 30. So if I take my vertical lines and I go here, I go here, and I go here, let's go back to price. And go to the daily. The last time it was there was here. That's where it's heading back to. So the real zone you're targeting is about 87,200. Once this exhausts, if it breaks past that, it's in free fall. So now we're looking at 87,200. This is way below that at 81.7. So Bitcoin's going to drop another 9,000 points once this stops. Let's take a look at some technicals real quick. Yeah. It's a strong sell on the daily. It's a sell on the weekly. It's a strong buy in the interim. Yeah, it's going to drop. All right, let's check out what we just got. I think I heard 5 dings. We have stop loss, well, take profit hit on Canadian dollar versus Japanese yen. We looked at cake already, so that's the 15 and the 30 minute, both on stop loss. We looked at Aptos, stop loss. Gold just gave us a re-entry, so that we're getting ready to take. Stop loss on TUT, stop loss on XPL. All right. We can take gold and a buy to 4254.64. And this is gold versus the United States dollar, and it's on the 15-minute time frame. We're at 3.91 risk. We got entry at 4207.237. We got stop at 4139.139. 4195.39 for 1210. And we got take profit at 4254.60. That's for 47.36. It's going to be a nasty morning. Gotta be careful. All right. Gold versus the United States dollar on a 15-minute buy. Your entry price is 4207.237. Stop loss is 4195.139 for 1,210 pips. Take profit is 4254.600 for 4,736 pips. That's a risk reward ratio of 3.90. This is a precious metal, also a commodity. You can find this on just about all brokers. This is gold versus the United States dollar. Oh. And here's the beginning of the end. Told you Bitcoin was going to exhaust itself. It's starting now. You can kind of expect Bitcoin to probably break even before 7 p.m. today. If not, go slightly negative by a couple of 100 points. But it's going to lose all of these gains. And on the way down, we're probably going to get some short calls on cryptocurrency. Next opportunity in the market will be at 9:25 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's for the futures market. Then 9:30 a.m. for the rest of the markets. As we approach the closing bell of the London Stock Exchange at the top of the hour. And that is when I think things really become much better and cleaner for us to see. Once European money is out of the market. Let's see, we give us re-entry on silver. It did give us re-entry on silver. We're going to take this on a buy to 58.7693. And it's going to be a risk of 4.18. We've got entry at 57.2644. Got stop at 56.90439. And we got take profit at 58.7693. All right, we got silver versus the United States dollar. This is a 15-minute buy. Your entry price is 57.26440. Your stop loss is 56.90439 for 3,600 pips. Take profit is 58.76930 for 15,049 pips. Risk to reward ratio is 4.18. And silver is a precious metal that is also a commodity. You can find this on almost every broker that's out there as well. All right, we got gold as a future. Gave us re-entry here. Gonna take that on a buy to 42.87. All right, risk here is going to be 3.8. We got an entry at 42.3840. Got to stop at 42.2560. And we got to take profit at 42.87 even. All right, this is GC1. This is gold as a future. 15-minute buy. Your entry is 4238.40. Stop loss is 4225.60 for 128 ticks. Take profit is 4287 even for 486 ticks. Risk to reward is 3.80. And this is gold as a future. I use TopStepX for my futures. There are other brokers out there that have them. All right. We got micro gold as a future. Every entry here, targeting 4285.4. And risk is 3.69. Hold on. Better entry. 4285.4. Let's take that at 4.22. And that is 4233.50. Oops. Stop at 4221.20. And take profit at 4285.40. Right. All right, here we go. Micro gold. This is MGC1. 15-minute buy. Your entry is 4233.50. Stop loss 4221.20 for 123 pips. Take profit 4285.40. Risk reward ratio of 4.22. Again, this is micro gold. It is a future. And we've got re-entry on silver, targeting 59.58. What happens when a little patience pays off? All we did was wait 30 minutes. 1.32. We got entry at 57.96. We got stop at 57.585. We got take profit at 59.58. All right, we got, hold on. That is wrong. That's not SIL, it's SI1. I'm not tripping. Oh, let me fix that. It's the correct call on Twitter. All right, there it is. SI1, it's a 15-minute buy. Entry price is 57.96. Stop loss is 57.585 for 75 pips. Take profit is 59.58 for 324 pips. Risk reward ratio of 4.32. And that is silver as a future. Now they have SIL1, which is micro silver, targeting 59.595. Risk here is going to be 4.28. You've got an entry at 57.99. You've got stop loss at 57.615. We've got take profit at 59.595. All right, we have a SIL1. This is micro silver, 15-minute buy. Entry price is 57.99. Stop loss is 57.615. No, dang glasses. Much better for 75 pips. Take profit is 59.595 for 321 pips. Risk to reward ratio of 4.28. You're looking at this and you're wondering why we got in this trade. Well, same set of gold, silver, and silver, micro gold and micro silver as a future. We have an original call all along. It exhausted itself, turned around, and reversed into price action. Gave us a re-entry. Typically, that happens when you have a sequence. So you have one reversal, and then it takes off and hits take profit. So that's what we're doing. We're letting price come back to us. It's already pulled back already. It's going to keep trying to go down, but it's already exhausted itself. It's going to take off and hit take profit. Now remember, the other side of this is the US dollar. So if you're going and looking at the DXY, for instance, hold on, let me make sure I have that. It's the dollar, and the dollar is selling off. Well, the dollar is selling off. That means anything against the dollar is going to be going up, which includes gold and silver. All right. Invalidated trade on gold versus Australian dollar on the 30-minute and on the 15-minute. And we have invalidation on gold versus euro on the 15-minute and the 30-minute. So next opportunity to enter the market will be in about 4 minutes. That'll be for the futures market again. We'll see what we end up with. My altcoins must be doing really well today. Doing all Yuck. We looked at this already. Stop loss hit on the United States dollar versus Canadian dollar. Nice clean entry. Hmm. All right, we got our high. Now we need our lower low. This will take off. So looking like this is lining up for 10 a.m. for a drop in Bitcoin. So we should get a little bump in price for the next 5 minutes or so. Then another dump off of price heading into 10 a.m. And you got somebody saying Bitcoin's on the verge of a 40% crash. I doubt it gets that bad. But 20+%, yeah, that's coming. Okay. You got Vanguard listing their Ripple ETFs. That happened today. And Vanguard had largely stayed out of the market. So now they're doing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ether ETFs. That's a lot of money coming into the market. All right, it's now 9:43, a few minutes before the next bell. Looked at ZKC. We looked at SOF. So take profit on SOF. So take profit on Jasmine Coin. There's a re-entry on Kaya. All right, so it reached the top of that U and then rejected. So now I think it's going to begin the slow climb of recovery and all of this. So at this point, we're heading below 83,800. Fast it's going to happen. All right, we got two new calls. We've got a sell on United States dollar versus Japanese yen. Yeah. That's going to set itself up at 10 a.m. sharp. And then we have a long on US dollar versus oil. I don't like this setup, so we're not going to take that. It's likely to come down again and then go up. But we will likely take the United States dollar versus the Japanese yen. Mhm. Structure again. Artificial top at 91,200. It's going to blow past that. All this FOMO is going to kill Bitcoin, at least in the short term. All you have is Vanguard announcing that they're going to start selling Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple ETFs. They haven't even done it yet. They would still have to get approval from the SEC to even set up the funds because they don't have them yet. So you don't know what the cash inflows are going to be. You don't know whether it's going to take from other funds to put it into Fidelity, which is essentially recycling cash. What you need is new net cash inflows, not a recycling of money. This is just a bad sentimental play. And once they realize that the sauce isn't there to the extent that they've already priced in, it's going to further collapse of Bitcoin. Only thing we can see clear as day is there's an artificial top at 91,200. It is mathematically impossible for retail traders to do that. So it's clear that institutional traders are going to try and push price higher. And stupidly, retail traders are going to rush in after them trying to buy it. And then they're going to take them for a ride down by the late by liquidating them. The smart player here is to wait for the sell. because this is unhealthy price action. Very unhealthy. And I got ADX at 46.67. That's crazy high. Anything over 25 is overbought. Anything over 35 is severely overbought. And this is at 46. All right, that's a buy on crude oil. And micro crude oil and light crude oil. Take profit smashed on euro versus Czech dollar versus Swedish krona. All right. Why are they going long on this? I don't get it. That's not going long. Those are trash setups. So these are futures. That's crude oil, micro crude oil, and light crude. And all three of those are bad setups. That's not a buy setup. And the reason is too much. You can't determine direction because the 50 and the 200 are right on top of one another. What's likely to happen if you look to the left is for it to reverse and take out this bad price action and continue to decline. You can see a permanence as you go up in time frame. So you go up in time frame. You got 2 hours on a downtrend. You got 4 hours on a downtrend. You got daily, it's on a downtrend. And way back here on August the 2nd of 2024, you had a golden cross on the daily. And since then, light crude has been dumping. So it's literally been on a downtrend for a year. Yeah, not entering a buy on that. That's nuts. I got a minute left to go to the closing bell of the London Stock Exchange. And then things get really interesting for us. All right, it's now 10 a.m. London is closed. It means it's only U.S. money affecting the market. We should get much cleaner movement now. We'll see what the true direction of the market is. I need to go get my phone. So 6 and 1 future of the New Zealand dollar. Take profit smash there. I don't like this setup. Ideally, what we want is the 800 on the top, the 200 in the middle, and the gray, and the aqua on the bottom. But instead, we have the aqua over the gray with a golden cross here. So what's likely to happen is the price pushes up, breaks structure, and invalidates this trade. So we're not taking this. And it did break 91 too. So it's going to keep going for now. Let's see where the liquidity is. You got major resistance above current price. I'm actually shocked it's made this extension. You got ADX at 48. That's crazy. You normally never see ADX on Bitcoin near 50 on any time frame. So this drop is going to be nasty. I don't know how many of you have done archery before, but I want you to think of price action as like someone drawing back really hard on a very strong bow and arrow. And in this case, them drawing back the bow is price going up. When they let the arrow fly, what happens? The bowstring snaps back violently towards the bow as the arrow flies the other direction. And that's what's getting ready to happen to Bitcoin's price. Again, this is very unhealthy. Okay, right, any of that right now. Go away. All right, so no new calls for 10 a.m. It's another one for OM. Order filled by on blah, 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 blah. That's a stop loss. Mhm. All right. I'll be right back. I need to grab my phone and I need to wrap my foot. That's the reason why I missed the London session on Monday. I don't know what the hell I did to my foot Sunday evening. But woke up and had tendonitis really bad. So didn't get to go to the gym yesterday. Foot feels like crap. All of that. But for now, we wait. So we still have price covering. It literally isn't going anywhere. Okay. Looks like we've had a possible buy on Japanese yen. First of all, it's saying that we have a buy on gasoline, and that is likely given the setup. So we'll keep that. That's going to pop off in 15 minutes at 10:25. It's showing a buy on Japanese yen as a future, but that's going to sell off. So that is not valid. But this gasoline call is coming in 15 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to wrap this damn foot. Won't be as painful for me to walk. It has a little bit more stability. There we go. Dang it. Oh, God, this feels so much better. Freaking foot. And there we go. Bitcoin goes timber. Now we get to watch as pure panic builds and people go to jumping off of buildings because they got into these aggressive long on Bitcoins. Oh my God, Bitcoin's going to the moon. Nope. Got you again, big dummy. And the funny thing is, it is not going to make decline of price look obvious. It's going to be a nice slow drip at first, and it's going to be a very fast move. And it's going to be too late. So there'll be just enough time to give the retail traders who went long belief that it might go higher. So they stay in the trade instead of getting out while it's still safe. And next thing you know, they're down by the lake, getting drowned and liquidated and mad and upset. Meanwhile, for those of us that were smart enough either not to be in Bitcoin or to short it, we're going to be making money or keeping money, which is pretty much the same thing if you're trying to trade. You don't always have to be making money. You have to be very good at determining when not to get into bad trade setups. If you can do that, it's going to increase your success. There will be days where you don't make any money. But granted, I haven't had any days like that in a while. The last time I had a day where I didn't make any money off of trades was like 3 weeks ago. But I didn't lose any money that day either. You got to remember the time frames that you take the confirmations on do not determine how fast it's going to take for trades to hit take profit. The market is always right. All it is the strength of the confirmation. So obviously, if you're finding a buy or sell signal on a longer time frame, that's going to be a stronger signal and typically a larger trade than a shorter signal. But trades on the 4 hour or trades on the 15-minute can happen in a matter of minutes sometimes, depending on what's going on. A good example of that was way back when Trump announced, I believe in October, that he was putting 100% extra tariffs on the People's Republic of China. Bitcoin tanked from 116 to 102,000 in under 14 minutes. We were live that day. I think we called out like 114 shorts on different cryptocurrencies. We won every single one of those trades. Guess what we didn't call? Bitcoin. It's not always necessary to be in the big dog to make money. There are tons of cryptocurrencies. That's why we trade over 240 of them. And they're not all perfectly correlated with Bitcoin. In fact, most coins are not. Some coins are more correlated with other coins, like there are coins that are more correlated with Ethereum or Ripple or Cardano or XRP. For example, Stellar Lumens, which is XLM USDT, is highly correlated with Ripple. Bitcoin Clash and Wrapped Bitcoin are
closely correlated with Bitcoin. Ethereum Finance is closely associated with Ethereum. To a lesser extent, Cardano and Solana. And then all of these coins have their own ecosystems where they have layer 2 coins that are on those ecosystems, and they run very strongly correlated with those ecosystems. Now, those are harder to find. And for those of us that trade out of the United States, like myself, we don't have access to a lot of the exchanges that have some of these more obscure coins, like a Binance, for instance. So we have to get creative to take trades. So to accomplish this, I have a combination of two brokers. I have BTCC, which doesn't require KYC, which allows me access to another 100-something odd cryptocurrencies that I can't normally get access to in US brokers. And then I have liquid brokers where I have another 140-something odd crypto perpetuals that I can trade. That's the list you're looking at right now. So all in all, I have 248 crypto perpetual trades I can trade. I have, think 18 or 19 different spots. I've got all the major Forex currencies. I've got commodities, so I've got natural gas. I've got US oil and UK oil. I've got silver, platinum, gold, and palladium. I got 42 different futures, and I can trade those from Top Step X, which means I can get into things like soybeans. So, for instance, when the United States finally stopped its fight with China, and China made that first buy of soybeans all year, we hopped into a trade on soybeans on the futures market and made a shit ton of money. You see that nice red candle forming on Bitcoin? This is what I told you guys were coming. Price exhausted itself on the ADX, and now you're getting a pronounced reversal. And I told you it's going to be a slow drip. See how slowly the price is moving? So people that don't know what they're looking at, or that swear by candles, or they're looking at this previous structure to the left and they're saying, oh, price is right here. It hasn't broken structure, so there's still hope. And they'll draw a line right here and they'll say, oh my God, it's, this real strong support here. It's going to test this and it's going to bounce up. Okay. Keep that same energy. We're going to keep that line right there. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. Candles can lie. Math does not. Trading is not that complicated. It's real simple. Price goes up, price goes down, price goes sideways. Avoid the market when it goes sideways. Trade with the trend up and down. Keep your risk to reward ratio over 2 to 1. If you do that, you can lose 2/3 of your trade and still be in profit. So what you do then is you rack up the number of trades that you take. You find a system or an advantage that works for you, you take every trade. And what happens? You grow. Now, give you guys an example here, because I don't even remember precisely when I opened this. As a matter of fact, I do. Now, I opened this account on BTCC on September the 26th of this year. When I opened the account, I put $100,000 in the account. Just their basic account. I didn't want their VIP, so I could have low spreads and all that other crap. I just wanted to test the platform. One, because it had almost all of the cryptocurrency perpetual pairs that I trade on liquid brokers. But in addition to that, it had a couple of hundred others that I don't have. So I like the platform, and it's web-based. I don't really like using MetaTrader. I think it's crap. And it delays your entry into trades. And I don't like that. This is almost instant execution. As you can see, there's $982,000 in it and climbing. You look at transaction history. It's just the last few days. It'll take you guys back to the beginning of 11:30. Look right here. This is your close time. When you see this little gadget here, the action, that means you can download the fact that it was a win. So there's 11:30, the very first win for 3,600. And it just goes on and on and on. All these are live trades that I've been calling in New York or London. And all of these are from within the last week. Now, that was the end of the trades. And then this morning, while I was sleeping, more trades: 1890, 4925, 996, 8330, 1770, 5850, 6960, 3090, 2830, so on and so forth. And then we had the trades that we took this morning. So this is what we do every day. It's not bullshit. It's not smoke and mirrors. I'm not sitting up here trying to sell you anything. I'm not putting what I know behind a pay gate. I get on my live and I get my trades out for free. I remember being where you are. Either you're a very new trader and you're just looking for a mentor to be able to consistently profit so you don't quit for lack of success, or you've been trading for a while and you thought you had it figured out and the market's been kicking your ass and somehow you found the live and you've been following long enough to understand. Yeah, I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. I welcome all of you guys. I am the Pit Messiah. You can find me on multiple platforms. Go ahead and introduce that real quick. Take this off. All right, I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, Nemo TV. The Quiet Storm is the name of the show. You can also find it as a podcast on Apple TV, Amazon TV, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. I do go live every weekday. Oops, there we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. First at 2 a.m. That's the opening bell of the London Stock Exchange. All the way up to 4 a.m. We went about an hour last night because I was so deliriously tired. I just went to sleep. And I'm glad I did because it kept us out of a lot of bad positions that went on a reversal because of the announcement of Vanguard that they were going to start releasing ETFs on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. And this is their first entry into the market. If you're not familiar with Vanguard, they're part of the big three of venture capitalist firms. So you have Big Daddy BlackRock at the top. Then you have SunGard, and then Vanguard is the third largest venture capital firm in the world. All of these guys are trading near $1 trillion in assets under management. So imagine some of that money just trickling into Bitcoin or Ethereum or Ripple. That's going to be a lot of cash moving around. And it's going to be cash that's never been in the crypto market before. If you haven't already done so, regardless of what platform you're on, I would appreciate it if you would drop a follow. Doesn't take much, just a click. If you're on a platform where you can like the video, do that for me. Leave a comment. If you're looking for the brokers that I use, all of that stuff is in the description to my video. If you're on Twitter, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can grab that. Just go to any of the videos and then scroll down to the description. It's going to give you the brokers I use. So the brokers I use, the first one is Liquid Brokers. Liquid Brokers. Here, I'll post the link to it.
Might as well. And Liquid Brokers allows me to trade crypto perpetuals, crypto spots, Forex pairs, whether they're major, minor, or exotic, indices, precious metals, and some commodities. It's really easy to get money into the platform. It's really easy to get money out of the platform. They have a very strong referral program. And in addition to that, they have very, very fast execution. So their spreads are very, very low. You know, you don't want your broker eating up all your cash. That sucks. Know what's going on with my windows here, but this is irritating. Hold on. Twitter's moving really, really slow. So I don't know if they're undergoing a DDoS attack or what, but that's a little nuts. Any rate, there is my link on Twitter for Liquid Brokers. Here's the link for LinkedIn. So that was the first broker that I actually started with. The next broker that I use is BTCC. We just talked about that. It's the screen that I just showed you. Matter of fact, let me go back to Trading View here. So we bounce off of that line. It's not going to stay there very long. Lord have mercy, why is my computer moving so slow today? Ooh. I finally feel like my foot isn't going to fall off. Ow. That hurts a lot. All right, so there's my link to BTCC. Got another ding, so we're about to evaluate another trade here. And then the last one's going to be LHFX, used to be Eagle FX. They're another broker that I use exclusively for Forex pairs because by far and large, they have, first of all, they have 500-to-1 leverage on Forex pairs, which is great. And secondly, their spreads are probably the lowest I've ever seen on a broker. And they're not a market maker, which is great. You don't want your broker to have the ability to artificially inflate or deflate price on currency. You want to be able to go on TradingView and the same price that you see there is the same price that you see on your broker. And this is what these guys do. So that's everything there. So those are the three brokers I use. And then for futures, I use TopStepX. Let's go and check out what this ding was about. Well, it looks like we got two. All right, first of all, we've got gasoline on a long to 1.9170. I don't like the fact that price action is down here and it has all of this up here. That's a lot of resistance. So we're not going to take gasoline is a buy. And then we have Great British Pound versus the Swiss franc, and that hit stop loss. So back to Bitcoin we go. So I was mentioning earlier that essentially when you're looking at price action, it goes up, it goes down, it goes sideways. Right now, this is an instance of Bitcoin price basically going sideways. It has been going sideways for an hour and 45 minutes. All of this up and down is just noise. So if you're looking at this chart and you're looking at the candles and you're so enamored by it, you're not paying attention to what's going on. That's consolidation. You do not want to enter a trade in consolidation, ever. You only want to enter a trade when you can determine direction. And right now, you have blue, gray, aqua. That's consolidation. It's not an uptrend. It's not a downtrend. It's just kind of hovering in price on the 15-minute right now. Now, a lot of people will see consolidation on a higher time frame, and they'll drop down to a lower time frame because they're just obsessed with trying to get into a trade, and they'll do that. Well, if you get into a trade on a lower time frame and it's consolidated on a higher time frame, you don't know direction. When it turns around on you, it's too late for you to exit the trade. So whenever you're trying to determine direction, do not go to lower time frames. Go to higher time frames. And when you go to the higher time frames on Bitcoin, particularly starting with the daily, you can see you have a golden cross on the daily, which means that this is going to be a downward price. You go up in time frame. You see prices below the 50, which means it's going to head towards the 200. So the bottom of Bitcoin price is currently around 66,000. That's where price is heading, towards that direction. You apply Elliott Wave principle, it exhausted itself right here at 125 and change. Actually, the all-time high of 126. Since then, it's been dropping. What you're looking for is a breakage of structure. And the breakage of structure is right here at the 4. 80,600. If it breaks 80,600, look where the price is going. Here, I'll extend this so that you can see it. It's kind of hard to see from here. So let's grab a rectangle. Right there. That's your bottom price. That level is your only support between Bitcoin and 1 cent. It's impossible for Bitcoin to go to zero because there is a guy that has Bitcoin on a buy limit at 1 cent. So as long as he keeps that buy limit order, it is impossible for Bitcoin to go to zero. Because for that to happen, Bitcoin would basically completely liquidate and he would be the only guy in control of all of Bitcoin. It's unlikely, but he has a buy order at 1 cent. Doesn't cost him anything to keep that trade open, except for the margin required to open the trade. And he's getting paid every day that Bitcoin declines in price. Because he's shorting it. So now when you turn on your order blocks, what do you see? There's our purple. Here's the order block at 52.6. Now, mind you, we just drew that blind just based off of market structure. And the money's sitting right there on the weekly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you actually do an analysis. It's not smoke and mirrors. It ain't complicated. It's just math. What goes up must come down. If something's going sideways, avoid it. Now, price has been below 80,600 this year. It happened right here on April the 7th, the week of April the 7th. If it invalidates that level, there is nothing stopping Bitcoin from dropping to 66, which is at the 200 EMA. If it breaks that, we will go to the 50s. That's a 45% drop in Bitcoin. Possible. Now, of course, Bitcoin going that low is going to basically liquidate hundreds, if not thousands, of altcoins. They're basically just not going to exist. Because they're going to get liquidated. Unless Ethereum starts to outperform Bitcoin and people who are smart take their money, purchase Ethereum, use that as gas to purchase altcoins, and you have a super cycle where Bitcoin is declining in price, Bitcoin dominance is declining as a percentage of the market, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and altcoins actually take off. That's what's happened every other 4 years before this. Why hasn't it happened so far this time? Because this time we have something we haven't ever had. We have the influx of institutional money. And we have some form of regulation from the government level. And both of those factors are scoring things up. Right now, you have BlackRock, which is the largest venture capital firm in the world, literally moving to institutionalize the control of Bitcoin. Man, remember, they have over $1 trillion in assets under management. They have all the different products from your ETFs all the way down to your layer twos to basically support an entire ecosystem for Bitcoin. And they have the largest pool of money invested in the fund. That's why they're moving so aggressively on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple, even though they said they weren't going to do it. They even have plans to do the same thing with Cardano and Solana. So it's not hyperbole when they say this might be one of the last chances you have to really make a mint off of cryptocurrency, because once institutions finally get their hand on enough of the structure, there isn't going to be a lot of volatile movement. It's going to be very smooth in one direction or the other. So we'll feel more like a permanent asset class like Forex or like commodities or precious metals, as opposed to what crypto has been doing. It will still grow faster than those other asset classes, but you're not going to see like a 16 million% climb like they had with Shiba Inu over the last 10 years. That's not going to be a thing anymore. You might get a couple of thousand or a couple of hundred X's here and there, but that's about it. All right, so moving down to the 15-minute. Again, price is moving sideways. We got our solid top at 91,296.72. It's probably going to hold for the rest of the day. And because crypto's been largely positive today, you can probably look at a sell-off starting with the crypto reset at 7 p.m. tonight. If you're not aware, cryptocurrency trades 24/7, but the daily reset for crypto is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So from 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. is the 24-hour cycle for cryptocurrency. You have a couple of triggers. You have the 3 a.m. candle. That's an hour after the opening of the London Stock Exchange. That's also a 4-hour candle for cryptocurrency. And then you have the 3 p.m. candle. That is 4 hours before the closing bell of the crypto markets. And it's also an hour before the close of the New York Stock Exchange. Those two time tenets are really a time frame where you can find a lot of reversal points. So starting around 3 p.m. today, come back and look at the price of Bitcoin. Around then, it's going to start to drop ahead of the opening of the next business day. And once that 4-hour clock candle hits at 7 p.m., you're going to see a sharp drop off of Bitcoin, and the entire market's going to turn red. Big red. You're certainly going to lose the 4,400 points you see that Bitcoin is up today. You're going to get down to that 86.3 range. If it breaks that, you're selling off again. You're heading towards 80,000 and change again. That's enough of my babbling on that, but it's essentially what you're looking at. So I am still not caught up from all the different announcements on wins from the 30th of November or for the 1st of December. So I'll get those called out today. I actually lost track of time between dealing with my leg yesterday and surprisingly enough, I spent a lot of time video gaming. I mean, I was stuck at home because I didn't go to the gym because of my foot. So I've been playing this new free-to-play game called Where Winds Meet. It's really kind of addictive, quite immersive as well. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. If it just start getting warmer here, if it gets any colder in Houston, I'm getting on the plane and I'm going somewhere warmer. This sucks. And I do not like it. All right, it's highly unlikely we get anything before 11. We'll stick around anyway just to check. So our last two tickers are going to be 10:55 a.m. That's going to be for the futures market. Then we have an hour candle, 30-minute and 15-minute candle at 11 o'clock. 1 hour past the closing bell of the London Stock Exchange at the top of the hour. And then we'll be done for today. Then we'll be back again for 2 a.m. tomorrow morning for London. Well, slow activity today for the first time in probably a couple of weeks.
mostly because of uncertainty, because of that Vanguard announcement. That'll shake itself out over the next few days. Once people realize that the announcement meant nothing. Why? Because Vanguard doesn't have ETFs yet. They still have to get approval for the freaking SEC to even open them up. But people, got a little excited there. That's fine. I get the FOMO. Oh, gosh. Sorry for all the yawning. I slept really good. All in all, not a bad day. Got some calls on some 2 perpetual trades and then on a few commodities. Silver's taken off. Nice, beautiful movement. Congratulations on you guys that took silver. It is significantly into profit right now. It is more heavily weighted than a regular Forex pair, so this is going to run you a nice little chunk of change. It's for 15,049 pips. So you have this on the lowest lot size, which is 0.01. Going to make yourself a nice $1,500 off of this. For those of you that want a little higher, you're probably up a couple of grand already. Be easy on that. Just because we can take positions and we win doesn't mean you get greedy on your lot size. Keep your risk management and your trade management consistent to the size of your account so you don't blow your account. So 50% is at the top of the Asian range. That looks like it's at 58 even. Once price on silver reaches 58 even, move your stop loss to your entry price to lock in the risk-free trade. Or you can move it into profit if you want to save some of the profit in case it does do a reversal. I doubt that it will. There's going to be a nice clean movement to 58.7693. And again, congratulations for those of you who took it. Gold, however, did us dirty, which is fine. We had a pretty tight stop, so no big deal. So that means that silver as a future and micro silver as a future are all in profit. If you have all 3 of those, you're probably somewhere near 10K in profit already, even at the lowest lot size. Futures have different setups, cost a little bit more margin to get in, but they're worth off of ticks, not pips. So the money racks up a little faster. And silver just so happens to be pretty heavily weighted. So even that small move is probably about $1,200. So yeah, doing well. 10:55. I don't hear any dings yet, so there's no new futures. Last ticker is 11 a.m., the top of the hour.
on silver. I did 1 minute, so 0.10. So I'll make about 15 grand when it hits take profit. Trade I'm most excited about is actually on a holo versus tether. I don't remember precisely when we got in this trade. But I'm currently up 15,170 bucks. Take profit is going to be for 56,670 bucks. So that's going to be a nice little chunk of change. It's a swing trade, but I'll take it. So for those of you curious on what that looks like, here's holo versus tether. If we go up in time frame, you will see why I took it. Now taking it to 4 cents. This is a very strong downtrend. The daily gets even more pronounced. So got into this trade way back on November the 21st. And I'm now 15,000 in profit. Already got about a minute left to go. Again, I'll see you guys again at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time for London session. If you haven't already done so, smash that subscription button. If you're on the right platform for it, like the video, turn on those notifications to keep abreast of when I do go live in the market. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. 30 seconds. Wait a few minutes here to see if we get anything for 11 o'clock. All right, no new dings. So with that, I will see you guys bright and early at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Cheers.